Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Counting on alum, Jinger Duggar Vuolo recently shared stories about her past with the Duggar family on the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. The 30-year-old mom opened up about the first time she told her parents she was wearing pants, as well as how she and her husband dealt with the show's money. However, Jeremy also caught the attention of many after opening up about the pressures he had with Jim, Bob, and Michelle. One of the biggest revelations from Jinger and Jeremy during the podcast was about their decision not to fight for the show's money. According to the Counting On alums, they decided to let it go as it could only make things worse. It's no secret that Jill is almost shunned by her parents after calling them out for not giving her part in the reality show's income. Jinger also added that she wanted to make her own money without causing any conflict with her parents. But it seems it's not the only issue the married couple faced during their early days together, especially Jeremy. During the podcast, Jeremy opened up about the pressures he experienced with Jim, Bob, and Michelle. According to the Counting On alum, they were bombarded with questions about whether they were expecting when they got home from their honeymoon. It's no secret that having as many children as possible is one of the main goals of the Duggar family. However, he wanted to have a normal timeline for having babies. In the end, Jeremy and Jinger Duggar Vuolo welcomed 2 daughters 3 years apart. Jeremy also recalled the time that he had to answer a 50-page questionnaire to prove his worth to Jim, Bob, and Michelle. Some of the questions include if he's in debt and even if he has kissed a woman before. He also faced so much pressure, especially after being converted to the IBLP. He claimed that Jim, Bob made him watch videos about their religion, which is something he didn't grow up with. Jeremy is also making a huge comeback in the sport he loves. In an Instagram post, the Counting On alum revealed that he's coming out of retirement to play soccer one last time. Jeremy is a retired professional soccer player who played as a goalkeeper for most of his career. Many members of the Duggar family also supported his decision, including his wife, Jinger Duggar Vuolo. Counting On alum Jinger Duggar Vuolo has been making headlines after participating in the Unplanned podcast with Matt and Abby. The 30-year-old mom talked about her past, including her decision to wear pants and her disentanglement from the IBLP. But aside from her beliefs, Jinger also talked about how she and Jeremy dealt with money issues, especially regarding their income from the show. One of the main topics covered by Jinger during the podcast was her decision to wear pants. According to the former Counting On star, she still wore skirts during her early days with Jeremy to honor her parents, especially when she was in front of them. She added that the Duggar family follows a certain Bible verse about modesty. However, she and Jeremy dug through the scriptures and never found any indications forbidding women from wearing pants. Since then, Jinger has begun to wear pants, but she clarified that everyone in the family still cares for and loves her. During Jinger's podcast with Matt and Abby, she opened up about how she and Jeremy deal with the reality show's issues. It's no secret that Jill called out her parents for not giving her share during the show, which ultimately led to her departure. But Jinger and Jeremy dealt with it differently. According to the Counting On alum, they chose not to fight over the reality show's money, even though Jim, Bob didn't pay them. We understood there was issues with the money. The show was making a ton of money, but Jinger and I just both determined, we're not going to make this an issue, Jeremy added. Jinger Duggar Vuolo later chimed in and said that she wanted to make their own money. Jinger and Jeremy also made headlines this week after some people discovered that their California house was listed for sale. The Counting On alums made things more suspicious after uploading a house tour vlog shortly after the speculation surfaced. Due to this, some fans began to assume that the two were relocating. But several Reddit users think they might be relocating as life in Los Angeles continues to become more expensive. Counting on alum, Jinger Duggar Vuolo has been sharing her life in Los Angeles with Jeremy and their 2 children. Their lives changed since moving to California. Many are also impressed by their lavish yet modest lifestyle. However, some Redditors discovered that the married couple listed their house for sale, creating speculation that they're moving again. Jinger also gave her fans a sudden house tour, making things more suspicious. Some Redditors recently discovered that Jinger and Jeremy's Los Angeles house is listed for sale. According to the poster, the Counting on alums are selling the house for $899,999 after purchasing it in 2022 for $830,000. Jinger has yet to address whether the rumors are true. Some fans speculate that the 2 may be relocating back to Arkansas. Others also think that they're just downsizing as life in Los Angeles continues to get expensive. But it seems Jinger is ending all the speculation with her new YouTube video. In a YouTube post, Jinger Duggar Vuolo shared a 10-minute vlog featuring a tour of their California house. The Counting on alum shared every part of her house, including the kitchen, bathroom, bedroom, and living room. The house also boasts a modern finish, with an office filled with bookshelves. But some Redditors were surprised by how the married couple tour their viewers like they're selling the house. Some also mentioned how the 2 did a tour just now after living in the house for over 2 years. According to some, it may be an indication that Jinger and Jeremy are indeed selling their house. They just posted a house tour, but didn't they just list this house? It'd make sense if this is the first they've shown it now that they're moving. It's safer, but I'm pretty sure they already done a house tour for this house. Just seems weird and random. This was very odd. The house looks staged to sell too, but they kept making comments like, "We haven't gotten around to painting Felicity's room yet. Are they trying to hide this move from their fans?" Edit. Thought I saw a house tour for this place, but the other one on YouTube is their free house from the church. They seem to do these as they are leaving. Maybe this is their way of trying to unload the house. Celebrities do house tours on Architectural Digest all the time under a guise of "here's my celebrity house tour" when they are just trying to sell it. Aside from their house, Jinger also took to social media to share a rare glimpse of her daughters, Evangeline and Felicity. They were having fun outdoors with their dad. According to the Counting on alum, she cherishes such moments and realizes that life isn't always easy, but people can find peace through God. He has promised that He will never leave us or forsake us. So let's find joy in that reality and thank God for the blessings He's given us today, she added. Many fans were also surprised by how big her daughters have become. Felicity looks so tall, must take after her daddy. All your babies are growing up way too fast. Wonderful, beautiful photos. Jinger Duggar is more than just an alum from Counting on these days. The TLC star is a famous author who bravely dished a lot of tea, but she seemed to avoid mentioning her brother Josh Duggar's name in a recent interview. So some people wondered why. After all, he was mentioned when she wrote about the show being canceled. This week, Jeremy Vuolo and his wife joined Matt and Abby on their The Unplanned podcast. She became extremely emotional when she talked about her childhood. Mentioning an unbalanced childhood made her cry, so perhaps her next book will address the extremes of being raised under so many strict rules. Jinger Duggar and Jeremy Vuolo also mentioned that she finds it difficult to discuss her feelings on the IBLP sometimes. Recall that her mom and dad, Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, raised their kids under Bill Gothard's teachings. However, she believes they can still love each other. The Counting on alums also laughed about the questionnaire that Jeremy had to fill in to court his future wife. The podcast isn't all deeply serious and disturbing stuff. At one stage, Matt asked why Jim Bob and Michelle chose to name all their children with J's. An OP on Reddit noticed that the former TLC star seemed reluctant to use her brother's name. Jinger Duggar explained that her parents didn't always expect to raise over a dozen kids. The Counting On fan captioned their post with, "Jinger not saying pest's name. I was listening to Jeremy and Jinger's episode on the Unplanned podcast. Matt asked why the Duggars decided on all J names. Jinger says the oldest was named with a J name, and then next came the twins, Jana and John David. After that, JB and M thought they would only have one more kid and didn't want them to feel left out, hence continuing the J name cycle. Through this entire explanation, she never said Josh. I don't think it necessarily means anything, but also I thought it was interesting." Perhaps Jeremy Vuolo gave the closest hint about cutting Josh Duggar out of their lives. Some fans discussed that. Others also threw in some ideas. When Jerm was talking about how the courtship rules were stupid, because if someone needs to be policed into being chaste, they probably should evaluate themselves in the first place, I felt like it was a jab at the pest lol. I don't think I'd want to say my abuser's name either. I don't think she thinks of Josh as her brother at all anymore. He's her abuser and an abuser of countless others. People will always know her as one of his victims. If she doesn't want to acknowledge him, that's her right. What are your thoughts about Jinger Duggar seeming to try not to use Josh Duggar's name? Do you think that she deliberately left him off the list of J's? Sound off in the comments below, and come back here for all your Counting On news.